Ay, good morning po. Ang report ko po today is about cloud computing. So, sa cloud computing po, usually naririnig natin ang cloud computing o cloud services, but what is the real definition of it? At ano nga ba ang mapapala natin in using cloud computing? Sa totoo lang, matagal na ang konsepto ng cloud, ngunit ngayon lang ito napapakinabangan ng karamihan ng tao dahil sa mas marami at mas madali na ngayon ang access sa internet. Bukod doon, ay mura at very accessible ang internet natin ngayon. To develop na ang mga mobile devices. Isang halimbawa na lamang ang email, gaya ng Google Mail. Ang Google Mail or Gmail ay isang uri ng cloud service na magagamit natin ng libre at matagal nating nagagamit ito. So, there are certain services and models working behind it. And of course, we have the basic concept in cloud computing. Is the first one is development models, and the second one is service models. So, sa pagsabi nating development models, it has four type of access. Cloud, ito ay ang public, private, hybrid, and community. So, ano nga ba ang functionalities ng apat na to? When we say public cloud, it is generally used by almost every people, like for example, the Gmail. But it is not recommended, especially if you want security, since it is public. Technically, there are a lot of ways para manakaw sa atin ang mga accounts natin. And in that case, it is very possible to get our confidential information as well. Unlike ng private cloud, the services and systems are being assessed within the organization, which means it is for safer to use than the public cloud. Kasi nga, private, kung sino lang ang authorized na personnel, sila lang din ang pwedeng maka-access sa services or system ni cloud. Pagdating naman sa ating community, it is also similar to the function and features of private cloud. But in this type of access, nabamaximize siya into group of organizations. Let's say may partnership ang two or more organizations. But to make it simple to gather data from each organization, mas maganda na ang community type of access para ma-share din yung services in cloud with other members. Hybrid is a mixture of public and private cloud. However, the critical activities are performed using private cloud, while the non-critical activities are performed using public cloud. The next one naman po is service model, which has the three basic service models. Ang una ay ang infrastructure, platform, at ang last yung tinatawag nating software as a service. Yan po yung ginawa ko po na pagkakasunod-sunod po niya. So users, application developers, infrastructure, and network architects. Ang EaaS or Infrastructure as a Service ay parang self-automated computer resources para ma-access and ma-well monitored ang computers ng isang company. By using infrastructure as a service, makakatulong ito sa isang business na bumili ng on-demand na resources instead of buying resources na outdated na. Sa infrastructure as a service, kasama din dito ang network, operating system, and storage by virtual presentation lamang, meaning walang physical contact na nangyayari, which means all of our prices kay infrastructure as a service is done by virtualization. Pagdating sa cloud, may term din na virtual data center kung saan minamanage without having the physical management. So, makikita niyo po yung mga sample natin. We have Amazon, Google Cloud Platform, Microsoft, and IBM Cloud. Okay po. Dito naman po sa ating PaaS. So, platform as a service is a very convenient for developers and company because it is type of platform wherein lahat ng tools na kailangan ni developer is nandun na. And even other steps na kailangan to create a specific application. Mas mapapadali din nito ang isang application to be maintained by the developers kasi less hassle to check the process since may platform na to provide na mas madali na navigate ang isang development apps. So, ito po naman yung example po natin. About SaaS po. Software as Service, or also known as the Cloud Application Services. So most of the services na ginagawa ni SaaS is more on support sa isang computer. Kasi si software as a service is capable and eliminating the needs of IT staff to download and install applications sa bawat computer. Kasi with the use of SaaS, it manages all the potential technical issues such as data, mga storage, at iba pa. Ang kagandahan kay SaaS, it is being managed from central location. Hosted din siya in a remote server, accessible especially kapag naka-internet. And last, hindi required sa user or hindi responsible sa user for hardware and software updates. So, ayan naman po yung mga sample po natin for SaaS. So, Office 365, Salesforce, Google Apps, dito po sa kabila. Benefits. Benefits po ng cloud sa atin. There are a lot of benefits kay cloud computing, especially in our generation na almost every task is supported by the internet and technology. So, unang-una na ang cost. Mas nakakatulong si cloud computing na mag-update palagi ng software application sa isang company. By using cloud, maaari na tayong maka-access sa iba't ibang services. All we need is internet. Flexibility. Yes, it's possible. Since every company could start with a small development, meaning para hindi rin mabigla ang isang company to manage services using cloud computing. Then, sooner or later, kapag nasanay na with the uses of cloud, then saka mag-implement or i-maximize ang cloud computing by growing into a large development. Reliability. All information provided by cloud computing is very valid, meaning all the resources are legit and mas malilesen ang hassles usually kapag may problem sa isang company. Next is cloud service. Of course, when it comes to maintenance, mas madali na kasi since may cloud computing, may services na siya and does not need to install applications to do such tasks sa isang PC. And mobile accessible. It's very convenient because nowadays we're having our mobile devices and internet. We can easily access cloud computing everywhere. Since nalaman na po natin ang mga positive side about cloud computing, eto naman po yung mga disadvantages po natin. So gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, we cannot access cloud computing if we don't have an internet connection. Even sa documents na na-save natin sa ating online storage cannot be accessed and updated since wala tayong connection. Kaya super mahalaga si internet pagdating kay cloud computing. It's in every services is being controlled by the support of the internet. Cloud computing is not also 100% secure. Kasi posible na mawala natin ang stored data if someone could access and erase our data. Pero the data itself naman na naka-restore kay cloud is actually safe as long as the confidential accounts are not being shared to other people. Ay, sorry. May sample lang po ako ng video, sir. Wait, ito.
Ma'am, siya parang walang audio yung video niyo po.
Sorry?
Para pong wala po talaga audio yan.
Sorry, sir?
Yung video po, ma'am, parang walang audio po yata.
Okay, okay. Sorry. Thank you po. Sorry. Medyo mahina po kasi yung internet ko.
Sige po, ma'am. Kala ko nabibingi na ako.
Sorry. Narinig ba?
Okay, so to give you some additional inputs with regards to cloud computing. So, of course, cloud computing at present is just in a trend, no? It happens that cloud computing is also improved, no? We will be able to identify some cloud computing security, which is too important, no? And we have a lot of cloud security challenges, no, most commonly. As what our presenter mentions, no, a while ago, no, regarding the cloud computing. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Opo.
sir.
Okay. Okay, so of course, the cloud has become an inseparable part of our daily life, right? For both individual and for the organizations. No? So as what our presenter mentioned, that cloud computing is a term that covers a wide range of technology resources that are delivered as a service via internet connection. So she stated earlier the software as a service or SaaS, platform as a service or PaaS, and the infrastructure as a service or IaaS, no? Among other services. Cloud computing is architecture for providing computing service via internet on demand and pay-per-use access to a pool of shared resources. So namely network, storage, servers, services, and applications. So without physically acquiring them. So it saves managing cost and time for organization. And normally data was stored in relational database on one or more servers located inside the organization, and the clients needed to request data from these server machines. Okay, so how security, no? So we need to know how security at IaaS layer need to be handled carefully as delivery models. So platform as service and software as a service are built upon IaaS layer. So I think the different models of cloud computing, generally cloud services, can be divided into 3 categories. Yun nga po yung sinasabi natin. Okay? Now, when it comes to if somebody asking cloud computing is secure, no? One of the big questions that people have about the cloud is whether it's secure, because security issues in the cloud computing is major source of worry for many organizations that are considering using cloud-based apps in app infrastructure. So if somebody asks me about is cloud computing is secure, maybe I just say it's complicated. No? Individual cloud computing solutions can be incredibly secure using all of the latest protections. So in fact, cloud service providers are often able to pour more resources into securing their data centers that other organizations can. Since providing access to the infrastructure and apps in the data center is the primary business model. However, the cloud computing service users are often responsible for a major portion of their cloud security. So failing to properly address cloud computing security risks and issues can lead to an otherwise preventable data breach. And according to other information cited by McAfee, no, that through 2023, at least 99% of cloud security failures will be the customer's fault. So in other words, cloud security can be highly variable, no, depending on how well the end user addresses cloud computing security issues and risks. So it's not that much different from using on-premises data centers, aside from the fact that the cloud data center is located off-site. So when we say cloud security is a catch-all term of the security practices, controls, and technologies that are used to be protect now cloud computing environments. And these controls can be classified into 3 distinct categories. We have the preventive controls, detection controls, and corrective controls. So maybe somebody asked, especially our customers asking, why is cloud security important? No? It's important for the same reasons that your company internal network security is important, because your reputation, organizational integrity, and ability to operate successfully are all at stake. So however, many people tend to underestimate the importance of cloud computing security. In large part, this is because they assume that the CSP, no, is responsible for cybersecurity in the cloud. Excuse. Most of the time, it's the user of the cloud computing solution that is responsible for any data breaches that occur. So if the user doesn't configure their cloud security strategy, there isn't much the CSP can do to stop a breach. So while some cloud services place a bigger burden on end users to practice strong cloud security than others, it's always a concern actually. So what are some of the biggest cloud security issues and challenges that you might have to deal with? We have the potential loss or theft of intellectual property. We have a regulatory compliance violations because many organizations have to follow strict compliance guidelines within their industry. And the cloud computing service may not necessarily meet that strict regulatory compliance standards, and organizations has to follow. And this can lead to compliance violation if the cloud computing security issues related to the compliance standard aren't addressed. Another is reduced visibility of the cloud environment. No? So one of the key issues that companies have with a cloud computing solution is that some CSPs do not provide visibility into the cloud environment. Another thing, of course, is the reduced control of cloud environment setting. Lateral attack spread is also consideration. Increased complexity of security, and notifying affected parties after breach is also important. Okay. Now, how about the concerns, no? The common concerns when it comes to the security issues and possible solutions. So the problems related to cloud computing in their proposed solutions, number one is the trust, confidentiality, authenticity, encryption, key management, of course. And to overcome common cloud computing, cloud security challenges and issues, no, we need to limit your cloud computing vendors as much as possible, because one of the major challenges in dealing with cloud-based solution is that they can all have different security tools and processes, which makes them more difficult to manage. Okay, so when possible, consider sourcing as many cloud solutions from a single vendor as you can. And this is often easier said than done. No? Another concern is verify your access to information about the cloud environment. Because visibility is so important to cybersecurity. It's important to verify what information about the cloud environment you will have access to, preferably before signing an agreement with greater visibility into the cloud environment. And you can more easily track and control security. Another thing, we need to verify the security SLAs. No? The signing an agreement, no, is important. Okay, check for specific security measures, no. Consult with a cybersecurity expert is also important. No? So I think and the best way for us to improve the cloud security, same as what we did on our cell phone, no? We need to deploy multi-factor authentication. No? The traditional username and password combination is often insufficient to protect user accounts from hackers. And stolen credential is one of the main ways hackers get access to your online business data and applications. So once they have your user credentials, they can log into all those cloud-based applications and services that you use every day to run your business. So protect all of your cloud users with multi-factor authentication, or the MFA, to ensure that only authorized personnel can log in to your cloud apps and access the sensitive data in your on or off-premise environment. Okay, manage your user access to improve cloud computing security. Okay, you need also to monitor end user activities with automated solutions to detect intruders, no? Like intrusion detection and response, vulnerability scanning and remediation, endpoint detection and response. You need also to create a comprehensive offboarding process to protect against departing employees. Diba? For example, your former system administrator resigned. So you need to create a comprehensive offboarding process, no, to protect against departing employees, as I mentioned. Provide anti-phishing training for employees on a regular basis. Kasi nga, every now and then nag-update, di ba? So therefore we need to keep abreast, no, with the available technology, because the rapid expansion of, for example, Microsoft 365 has made it a very attractive target for hackers. More than threats are emerging, specifically the frequency of phishing attacks, no? Offering ongoing training is the best way to prevent employees from falling victims to these scams and compromising our company's sensitive data. Because we need to keep in mind, no, we said that ongoing phishing training is not one and done. It's a continual process that needs to be managed by someone within the organization in order to make it effective. Okay, then consider cloud to cloud backup solutions. It's also important. Okay, so one of the biggest security worries with the cloud computing model is the sharing of resources. No? Cloud service providers need to inform their customers on the level of security that they provide on their cloud. So data security is a major issue for cloud computing. So there are several other security challenges, including security aspect of network and virtualization. So we believe that due to the complexity of the cloud, it will be difficult to achieve end-to-end security. So new security techniques need to be developed, and older security techniques needed to be radically tweaked, no, to be able to work with the cloud's architecture. So as the development of cloud computing technologies is still at an early stage, we hope in eyeing our work will provide a better understanding of the design challenges of cloud computing and pave the way for further research actually on this area. Okay, so I think that's it for cloud computing.